pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Boyle. Here. Lee. Here. Owen. Here. East Williamson. Here. Bessler. Here.
Okay, we start out with what's always our favorite of the night, is our District 207's best. And tonight it's our District 207's best in career exploration. And we're going to start with Lee West.
So just very quickly, this is actually an update of our 207's best students, and this is the first year that we've done it, but we wanted to more accurately reflect the work that we've been doing in each building to serve all of our students in our career advisement and exploration. District 207 has probably the most advanced career advisement program in the nation, so we expect to have this 207's best be a permanent fixture in board meetings moving forward. But y'all are the first winners of the Career Exploration Award for District 207. See what I did there?
So tonight it is my privilege to introduce Edwin Palacio Torres as Maine West High School's 207's best honoree for career exploration. Meeting Edwin allowed me to sit down with a young man who works with quiet purpose in pursuit of a passion he's had since he was a boy playing with Legos and Hamlet. He spoke of his enduring interest in building things and how when he works with his hands, he can see a plan or a drawing and understand quickly and easily how the pieces have to fit together to make the whole. And in this way, I gradually got a picture of Edwin's life, how he sees how those pieces have to fit together to make his future whole. He's building his life, and it's an honor for us to be a part of it. Edwin started in Project Lead the Way courses in his freshman year, starting with Intro to Engineering and Design. And since then, he's maintained a steady commitment to building and engineering, pursuing civil engineering and architecture, 3D animation, robotics, auto fundamentals, auto service, and the engineering and design capstone course. And as part of these classes, he took on several career tracks in manufacturing and in autos to get an out-of-school look at career possibilities. He enjoys and does well in math and science classes, especially chemistry with Mr. Hassman's sophomore year. And he credited the Ascend program with helping to reinforce a mindset that led him to try new things instead of just deciding that he couldn't do something. This helped him decide to go out for volleyball, almost to his own surprise freshman year. And he joined his friends on the team and had a great experience, and that openness to new things has been a theme in just about everything Edwin has tried to us. His openness to experience brought him to the Kickstart Apprenticeship Program this year, in which District 207 students travel to the Technology Manufacturing Association premises in Schaumburg to work towards certifications that get them into paid internships. This semester, as Edwin pursues his internship, he will finish his certification and potentially work for TMA over the summer after he graduates. Every day, he and the other Kickstart students leave West at noon and learn how to run machines, which is right up Edwin's alley. He has also applied to ICAPT, which is the Industry Consortium for Advanced Technical Training, for the chance to pursue even more learning in high-tech manufacturing and complex technologies or logistics. Acceptance into the program would mean that Edwin gets to earn and learn at the same time, training as a programmer or machine operator while working for one of the ICAPT partner companies. I asked Edwin if his work in tech had taught him any life lessons, which I know is a really stereotypical principal question. He had a great answer though. I have a plan, he said, and he shared an example of modifying his beloved Honda Civic, 2011 Honda Civic, with coilovers. And after he patiently explained to me what the heck coilovers are, he told me that the bolts he needed to remove and install those things were rusted and broken, causing some delays and requiring him to get more materials to finish the job. And planning means researching what you need and thinking through how you'll organize the work to get it done on the timeline that you want. So Edwin has a plan for his life too. He wants to study and become an engineer, just like many of his classmates who will pay a lot in college tuition and get what they want. In Edwin's plan, he will work, and as he does, his company will invest in him and help him on the path to his engineering degree, which sounds like a plan to me. Edwin's teachers consistently describe a kind, gentle, hardworking young man who is quick to help others and whom others are quick to like. Mr. Sumida, who taught Edwin physics, said he was a standout in labs, quote, where he quietly led students to stronger understandings through their own work. Mr. Peterson from Edwin's engineering classes noted that he always has a smile on his face. The exact same observation was repeated by Mrs. Michaels. his math teacher. Mrs. Parsiak, his gov teacher, said he speaks with his actions. He's a leader by example, setting and following classroom norms, completing homework, taking initiative. Mr. Reuter cherished learning more about Panama together. He shared a lot about his life in the cultural research project they did in English last year. Mr. Hassman, who taught Edwin chemistry and also worked with him in SN, shared this. Early on in his career at West, Edwin's ability to analyze novel problems and develop creative solutions was unmistakable. I witnessed this firsthand watching him obliterate sophomore chemistry. Edwin is quiet and humble by nature. His talent sneaks up on you. Watching him in action is like watching an Olympic-class sprinter, efficient, smooth, elegant. You forget that what he's doing is really difficult. And Mr. Heim, his auto teacher, wanted so much to get his characterization of Edwin right that he asked some of Edwin's classmates for help. And he noted that they kept coming back to the same themes that he did. Edwin is quick to help, quick to share, quick to try and learn something new to him. Without needing to be asked if there is a project being done, he will walk over and see what he can do to help. He's comfortable that he may not be an expert in how to solve the problem yet, but eager to learn new knowledge and techniques while always being a part of the solution. Mr. Heim also shared that Edwin sometimes brought his Honda into the auto shop, and that the work he did there was of professional level quality. And since I have a 10-year-old Honda Civic that I don't love quite as much as Edwin loves his, I was pretty interested in hearing about it. Edwin has other plans too. He plans to visit his family in Panama to see his grandparents, aunts, uncles, and old friends. He is excited that his grandmothers are coming to his graduation, and he hopes that some of his friends may come and visit him here one day. He recently sold his car and plans to get another. And if these plans go the way I think that most of Edwin's plans go, I expect to see him riding pretty low in a Civic SI sooner rather than later. So, on behalf of the Maine West High School faculty and staff, I'm thrilled to present this honor for career explorations to Edwin Palacios Flores, who truly represents USF. Edwin, can you tell us who's here with you tonight?
Yeah, this is my mom and dad and my girlfriend.
Now, Dr. McMahon is going to leave us tonight. There's a little game going on over at Conant tonight for the Maine West Warrior women, who, if they win tonight, will earn their third straight trip to the state championship round this weekend down at HSU. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Keep us posted.
All right, let's move on to Maine East.
Hi, everybody. I am very pleased to recognize and introduce Brianna Risby. So, by way of explanation, we had a sort of a VIP visit about 2 weeks ago at Maine East. The State Superintendent of Education, Dr. Carmen Ayala, came to District 207. They visited Maine East, and we're taking a look at some of our classes and programs, particularly in CTE, Career and Technical Education. After they got done touring, then our College and Career Advisement team put together a student panel that featured 4 students who sort of had a chance to meet one-on-one with Dr. Ayala and a few other people from the Illinois State Board of Ed. And Bree was one of the students on that panel. I'd seen Bree around, hadn't really ever had a sit down and a chat with her before. And initially, she was a little bit quiet, and then when she started talking, what we discovered is somebody who's got a great sense of humor and pretty passionate about her plans and kind of sharing her school experience. So I just kind of set that up as I offer some comments here. Over the past 40 years, Bree has taken child development, parenting, anatomy and physiology, school-age child, medical terminology, personality and relationships, and has been in a certified nursing assistance program and is currently in the preschool practicum. In addition to all of her work in terms of the core academics, along the way she was in choir for a couple of years. So she's been very, very busy, very active. The thing is, she's taken every course that is available in that particular strand. As I'll share in a little bit, in talking with her counselor, Susie Caliendo, before she ever even started as a freshman at Maine East. Bree came in, and her goal was to be a neonatal nurse. She knew that she wanted to work with the little bitty babies, so it was really a matter of what do I need to do in order to be able to make that happen. So she's taken the appropriate core level coursework and then all of these specialized classes. I'm going to share a few things that our teachers have said, and even though we had a very definite destination in mind, you're going to find that the career pathway veered just a little bit. And essentially she got to go she's going someplace that is really very similar. You know, if you were going on a trip, like the bags are all sort of packed, but where she's going to end up is just a little bit different in terms of still answering that passion, which maybe she hadn't quite defined, as I would say, is you know, at the front end. The thing I would say is, when you have a chance to talk with Bree, you're going to find a young woman who is very warm, she's very personable, she's pretty funny. I think she's kind of an old soul in the way that she sort of approaches things, and just a pretty neat human being. So one of her teachers that has worked with her over the past 3 years, each of the 3 years, is Tess Gutberger, one of our CTE teachers. She's shared the following. She said, first of all, we're so excited for Bree to receive this recognition. She's very well deserving of this honor. Over the past 3 years, I've had the privilege of witnessing Brianna grow and develop as a student here at Maine East. Brianna was a student in my child development class her sophomore year, my school-age child class her junior year, and then my medical terminology class her senior year. She's one of the hardest working students I've met and is well deserving of the honor. Bree has taken all of the CTE courses in the Health and Human Services pathway. At first, Brianna had her sights set on being a nurse, but after taking all of her courses, we noticed her natural ability to teach her classmates and others. I got to watch Brianna teach a class of third grade students at Nelson Elementary School, an experience in which Brianna stood out in my mind as someone who would be very successful in the education career pathway. Brianna is highly organized and purposeful with her instructional methods. She's continued to show these skills in her current role in our preschool practicum program. I'm very proud to have been able to work with Brianna over these past 3 years, and I'm confident that she'll continue to do wonderful things in her future career choices. Amy Swanson, who teaches our Certified Nursing Assistance Program, said Brianna is conscientious, hardworking. I see that as a recurring theme all the way through. She remains an active learner both in the classroom and in clinicals. She's thoughtful in interactions with others and will readily help her peers as well as the patients. It's a pleasure to have her in the classroom and in clinical. Her dedication, positive attitude, and hard work to complete her studies will serve her well now and in the future. One fellow student from Maine South who was in Bree's clinical group stated, I love having Bree in my clinical because of the positive energy she brings. After being in the nursing home for a few hours, it gets a little draining. Bree allows the opportunity to brighten the mood and bring positive reinforcement to every situation. Another one of our CTE teachers, Michelle Meyer, offered this. She opens this, I'm super excited that Bree is receiving this honor. What I can say about her is that she's so deserving because she's taken every opportunity available to her at Maine East to help her decide her career goals. When I first met Bree in August as one of my preschool practicum students, she voiced how she was only taking the course to learn more about children because she wanted to be a nurse and knew that she didn't have much experience helping young children. Bree started out the year very nervous to start teaching the preschool children in our program and didn't really have much confidence in her communication skills. She had a few lessons that didn't go well at the beginning, but she took my advice on how to improve her teaching skills overall and started meeting with me over our lunches and any other free time she had to work on improving her teaching. By the time second semester started, she had shifted her mindset and not only became a leader in her class period, but a mentor where she was also helping her peers with their lessons and talking them through on how they could improve their skills. I've never seen a student this quickly gain so much confidence in her place. I think that Bree has surprised herself in her abilities, and it's all due to the fact that she knew how to ask questions, accept constructive criticism, work hard, set goals, and take risks. These are all wonderful qualities to have in a teacher, and I know she'll make a positive impact in the world as a teacher. Finally, to mention Susie Caliendo as Bree's counselor, and she offered the following. She said, literally, This is so exciting. So exciting. She's had her sights set on working with babies as a nurse since our first conversation in planning for high school. Each year, she's explored a career interest by taking any class available to help her be best prepared for her aspirations, including biology, child development, anatomy and physiology, and this year's CNA and medical terminology. Amidst life struggles and tough academic work, Bree has always remained focused on the goal of preparing herself for college, always viewing challenges as opportunities for growth. This year, while struggling with her medical terminology course and loving teaching in our preschool program, Bree began to reflect more deeply on how her strengths and interests might impact her career planning. She recognized that while she was still very interested in helping children, working as a classroom teacher was an area that she wanted to learn more about. She's very excited about her new path into the field of education. As she prepares for Harper College next fall, she's also excited to see how her high school coursework has prepared her for a smooth transition into their education program, and was floored by all the opportunities to transfer out from there. Bree is very deserving and so appreciative of this honor. I'm so happy to see her earn it. I have to say that Bree is a really great example of the district's aspiration to get it right for students. She started by taking classes and getting experience to explore what she loves doing, an area that she recognized the world needs, and something for which she can get paid and make a good living. And through these experiences, she's discovered something that she's good at that was just, as I said, a little bit different than that original target. And something that she seems to be equally, if not even more passionate about than what she started out with. So, super proud of her. She's still got some stuff to do this year, and I'm sure she's going to have a great future and potentially the biggest fan base we've seen. So, if you want to introduce who's here with you.
It's a long list, but I have my mom, my two aunts, my grandparents, my dad, my siblings, and my cousins, and Carol, Puda. Oh, and my stepmom, Carrie, sorry. Okay. And my stepdad, Tanil.
And you got a couple of Mayonnaise people here too.
Yes. Ms. Luciak from the College of Career, Mr. Weber, Mr. Thomas. It's a lie.
On the spot. All right. And your plans are to attend Harper and.
Yeah, plan Harper, attend Harper, and do the educational field, become a preschool teacher. That's my goal.
Very good. Congratulations.
Maine South is pleased to recognize Sarah Whitelaw for Sarah is quite possibly the most positive person who's ever walked the halls at Maine South. And when I was talking to some of her teachers about receiving this award, they were like, you have to say something about how she just exudes this kind of energy that is really, really infectious. So I certainly thought I would just start with mentioning that. So Sarah, when I met you a couple years back, and every time I see you in the hallway, you just brighten, everything that's going on there. So thank you so much. So Sarah has some family and friends that are in the medical field, and her mother actually said, why don't you try to explore a career here, because you seem to like to work with kids. And Sarah was describing some of the things that she wanted to do to her counselor, Mr. Milana, who said, what about this class called internship? Is there something that you could do there? So her first internship was at Lutheran General in nursing. And while she loved the internship, she realized that nursing was not for her. And as Dr. Wallace often says, it's just as important to realize what you don't want to do as it is what you do want to do, especially with the internship. So her next internship, which she's in this year, is in speech pathology, because she's really interested in languages and speech and the intersection of that and working with kids. So she's over in District 64 at Jefferson School, where she sits with the speech pathologists through all the weekly appointments and trying to get the K's and the T's and the I's and all of that correct with the students. But she really loves it, and she's discovered her passion. And I think that's one of the coolest things that she can do inside the internship program. So she's also very active at Maine South as a member of the cross-country team, the lacrosse team, the Spanish club, the Spanish Honor Society, and the ever-popular podcast club. Laura Wilkins and Katie Schroeder, both amazing people over here this evening, said jointly in a statement when they nominated her for this. Sarah participated in the Lutheran General Hospital search program. She was placed in the general surgery department. She received rave reviews from her sponsor, and she has built positive relationships with her peers. Sarah is always inquisitive in any learning opportunity. She networks with adults and creates lasting relationships. Her second internship was in speech pathology in District 64 at Jefferson School. Sarah has taken advantage of every opportunity offered to her. She recently started to use her Spanish skills, she's in Spanish for Excel, as a volunteer teacher's assistant at the Language Academy in Park Ridge. She was recommended for this opportunity by her Spanish teacher. And Sarah, I have a 4-page letter here of all of the things that your teacher said. I'm just going to a couple of items because it's really remarkable to have them all right in. So Mr. Egan, who's here with us this evening as well, Sarah's space science teacher, said that Sarah is an endlessly energetic, happy, positive soul. She is the epitome of a people person who seems to have the ability to make bad situations good and good situations even better. She can work with virtually anyone in any situation, and anyone would be lucky to have someone like Sarah as the public face of their company or organization. Sarah's counselor, Mr. Milano, said, Sarah stands as one of the finest people in the class of 2020. She maintains excellent grades, a hectic extracurricular schedule, and a part-time job. In all of her endeavors, this candidate brings a genuine smile and positive enthusiasm. She plans on studying nursing in college, a great fit for her aptitudes. Sarah Whitelaw possesses all of the necessary attributes to excel in college, career, and life. She comes from a wonderful family and understands the value of teamwork. Teachers, coaches, and peers appreciate her genuine, positive demeanor. Mike Biondo, Sarah's U.S. history teacher, says that Sarah is one of a kind. She is one of the kindest and most personable students I have ever met in my career. That's very high praise coming from Mr. Biondo. She has an incredible emotional intelligence that helps her connect instantly with others. Her academic achievement is also incredibly strong. She made many sophisticated contributions to our United States history class, all with an eye towards issues of justice and exploring the voices of people in the past. With an interest in fields related to science, health, and medicine, Sarah worked with a partner in our class to produce a website for the Chicago Metro History Fair competition on the Spanish flu epidemic in the era of World War I. Sarah utilized high-quality sources, including a visit to the Newberry Library and the Chicago Public Health Commissioner's report that was produced in the 1920s, to present a thoughtful and thorough analysis of Chicago's response to the epidemic. In addition, the students provided a comparative analysis with other cities. Her project was selected to advance to the citywide finals, the equivalent of sectionals in this competition. And Beth Ann Ball, Sarah's algebra teacher, said Wayne Gretzky is credited with saying, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I believe that is Sarah's credo as well. I first met Sarah during her freshman year, and then again had her in advanced algebra during her junior year. Sarah has taken full advantage of the opportunities available at Maine South High School. During her freshman year, Sarah was focused on dance. She was on the competitive dance team and was an orchestrist. During her junior year, she transitioned to running cross country and playing lacrosse. And Sarah has spent these 4 years at Maine South searching for her purpose, the intersection of her passions, mission, vocation, and profession. Sarah is willing to take risks in her activities and in the classroom. She's an active participant, collaborative, cooperative, and is naturally encouraging to everyone she meets. Sarah has a positive can-do attitude that is contagious, and Sarah will have a tremendous future, and I'm looking forward to hearing from her. So Sarah, on behalf of everybody here this evening, and on behalf of Maine Township High School, you are just doing an amazing job, and we are going to miss your energy and your smile every day in the hallway. So we hope you come back and let us know all the wonderful things you're doing for children and everybody else in the world. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell us what you're planning to do next year?
So I'm planning on studying speech pathology at either Augustana or St. Louis University or DePaul. and I'm really excited, so that'll be fun.
Awesome. And who's here with you this evening?
I brought my mom and my dad, hi guys, and then a bunch of my teachers came, Miss Ball, Mr. Egan, my space science teacher, and the two career people, Miss Wilkins and Miss Schroeder. Thank you guys for coming, and congratulations to everyone else. Bye guys.
You are all beyond impressive. We can't wait to hear all the great things that you're going to do in your careers. And before you go, Superintendent would like to speak to our.
So we actually have our 3 building career coordinators here, if you guys would stand up real quick. So we have our east, west, and south career coordinators, and then Mark is our career specialist from Maine East, and Ms. Schroeder, if you could stand up too, who runs our internship program. So for parents and other guests that are here tonight, when we started this work about 7 years ago, we had 74 business partners, and most of them worked just in the internship classes. Today, we've got 624 business partners. So, and I think Dr. Collins really captured it well. And you've heard a couple of stories tonight about someone who thought they wanted to do one thing and discovered they wanted to do something else. What our design thinking is that we want our students to have those experiences in high school, because a lot of kids go out of high school, maybe to college, and they're trying to figure it out. Well, that takes time and that takes money. So we think we serve our kids best by getting them these experiences while they're in high school. Dr. Presser mentioned that we had the state superintendent in here a couple weeks ago. She was here to look at what we're doing, because we have the model program, not just in the state of Illinois, but probably in the United States. So we're just so proud of the stories that we heard tonight. It reaffirms the work that we are trying to do to really get it right for students. And that getting it right means that we've got to give students plenty of experiences to let them find that perfect fit for them. It's exemplified up here on the wall. It's our aspirations to get it right. That really is what we are trying to do, is can we have the same experiences for each of our students that these 3 students have exemplified tonight. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you for our team to do the great work. Thank you.
And now is our chance for our District 207 bus and your families, your extensive families, to step outside and take pictures with the principals. And you're more than welcome to come back in with the direction, or you can. Okay.
Thank you so much again. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Do you feel better? I'm glad. No worries. We miss you.
Well, have a great day.
Thank you for coming.
Glad to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really? Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. I'm excited. Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
No problem.
Thank you.
Mr. McGreevy told me to say, sorry you couldn't make it.
No worries. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Move on. Any public comments? Update from our superintendent.
I just said a minute ago, but we did have a visit from the state superintendent a couple of weeks ago. She had a lot of her staff members from the Illinois State Board of Education. We had the opportunity, actually, we were invited to visit them the day before Thanksgiving. So Dr. Laura Cook, who's our district career coordinator, and I and Martha Eldridge Starks went down to the state superintendent's office, met with them, described the mechanics of the program that we're doing, including some of the software that we're using, and the state is actually interested in buying one of the pieces of software to disperse throughout districts to the state. So the one that they would use is the Jobs EQ, which lets you search by zip code any job in America. It's on the Indeed platform. which is refreshed every 24 hours. We use 3 other products, including the Jobs EQ, that's on the Bureau of Labor Statistics jobs report, but that's quarterly, which is still pretty fresh. But, so she got to meet our E-student, Brianna was on the student panel, and hear just some incredible stories of what our students are doing. So it's really, really, I'm glad that we made this move this year. For you, it's the first time that this is the first, we sort of made some changes in our 207's best to update and reflect, like, what are we really working on? I think Board Member Laura Austriaco just mentioned, this is probably the most diverse group of audience members we've had in here. I don't think it's accidental that it coincides with this work. I have said many, many times publicly that getting it right for every student, to me, you know, we're doing a lot of deep work in equity, probably the best work we've ever done, that is the epitome, in my opinion, of equity, when you really match a student's interests, their careers, you know, their passions, with a path that leads to a job that pays a livable wage. Because you don't just change their life, you change the life of their children, you change the life of their children's children, and that's how you change the country, in my opinion. So we're just very, very committed to this work. I had the honor to keynote an event Friday for 10 districts around here that are looking at the work that we're doing, and I told them, and I mean this, we are easily probably 10 years in front of most districts in America, and I feel like we're 10 years behind, because every time I meet a student and they're not quite certain, and I don't feel like we've done a good enough job, it reinforces that, you know, this idea of trying to really get it right for every student, that's a big, big commitment on our part. But very privileged to be able to do this work with a tremendous staff every single day, every single month, every single year. What's happening in this district, and it's been 7 years in the making, but everyone has really bought into this in a really tremendous way. I heard someone the other day was talking about some work they were trying to do in their community, and they couldn't get businesses to buy in. And we had that same problem when we began, but we stayed with it, we were persistent, we had really good professionals like our career coordinators that are here tonight, Dr. Cook, but then here's what happened. They started working with our kids, and they had really great success stories. One of our local business partners told our community advisory council back in October, she said, I just got an intern because I had a little startup social media marketing campaign, I wanted some free help. And she was able to add clients, and she hired our intern. She's paying her to work, and she's taking on other interns, and that kind of story is increasingly what we see. I probably need to maybe do an update for the board for some of the stories that we've got that are just, it'll give you a better sense of the work that we're doing and how important it is and how impactful it is.
It's been a while since we've met, so I would welcome that.
That's some good videos.
Yeah, we would
Okay.
welcome that.
Okay?
First, I just want to quickly compliment what a great job on this, because in the beginning, I think that Dr. Wells probably remember, I wasn't too keen about.
You were skeptical.
Yes, skeptical.
You were skeptical.
Because I was thinking about more of a babysitting for the high school from the companies, because they're more interested in college and university students for internship and everything.
Yeah.
But now I definitely changed my shift on my on this particular situation, because it's very positive, and it definitely save a lot of time and energy, and also financially too, for cultivating these students in early age. So I'll even bring that to the more international level as well, and just, you know, telling other schools how great and wonderful job that we are doing for this particular program.
And I just want to follow up with that. I mean, I've noticed that Ken is speaking a lot, and people from the district on this topic. I mean, he's really being sought out to speak and lead, and we should really be proud of that, because we're on the leading edge of that, and it's because of his vision. And I know you were just appointed president of something, I can't keep track of what they are, but can you tell us what that is?
IDEA Illinois, it's the Illinois, it's the Association for Technology Educators in Illinois. And so that just happened last week. So it's really, it's a 501c3, it's a big organization. We had our state conference this week, had over 3,300 people attended. We have a professional
All
staff.
from Illinois.
Actually, we had people from all over the country
Oh, really?
attend that. But most of the audience is Illinois educators. But some of our keynoters were, you know, international keynoters, some amazing people One of our keynoters last week was a woman by the name of Jen Williams, who connects people to other parts of the world where people don't have the advantages that we have here, and helps build schools around the world. It was just an amazing, amazing keynote, and it
And
was
Tim, would you
inspiring.
say that, I mean, I get the impression just from reading things that a lot of people are talking about, careers for kids and what's the best thing for them. Is it college or is it some of the, trades or, and I'm seeing that. Do you think that you see a lot of schools that are really starting to make these changes or?
It's changing, and I think it's still in, it's a continuum. You've got people that are really aware of it. What we're really blessed to have here, I say this all the time, and people, I tell my colleagues this, I think having what I consider a really strong team here makes all the difference, because just as Jen said, and I remember, one of the videos I played on Friday was one of our business partners, who, a gentleman owns an insurance company, and he was coming to work with a marketing class at Maine South, actually, and he said exactly what you said. He said, I thought it was going to be charity work, kind of babysitting, and he was blown away because our kid built him a website, gave him very critical feedback about all the ways that his business wasn't on social media. You know what he said? Here's a quote. He said, I felt like I was in a professional marketing firm based on what our kids, and that is much more commonly the experience that our business partners have. So and I say this all the time, and I said it Friday multiple times, our problem is that we think too little of our kids. We don't think enough of them. We don't think enough of what they're capable of. And you don't get a kid to be the adult you want them to be by not imagining and supporting the idea that they can be that. And so that's just been my experience. And I saw that as an educator. I mean, I remember teaching middle school students computer science, and I treated them like they were adults. We explained, why would anybody build a database? And how do people, and that was at the inception when we first started giving information, when you were checking out in different businesses and they were building databases. And so, and I found that the students understood that, and they could deal with it, and they could take that and build some things with that. So I just think it's it's just a real privilege to do the work we're doing. I do think, in my opinion, this work is the most essential work right now in this country, because it goes right to the heart of what kind of life our kids are going to have. And I talk a lot about the data, about, 1980 was a real inflection point. 1980 and everyone born after 1980 belongs to the first generation of Americans who are not predicted to earn more than their parents. Most of us up here were about a 90% probability to earn more than our parents, just by going out into the world. About 5 years ago, it was a coin flip, which means this minute, probably less than a coin flip. So the degree of importance on this topic has never been higher than it is right now. And so I got really, really deeply into the data on this about 10 years ago. And I tell people I'm obsessed with this, because I can't think of anything more important that we do for our kids than this right here. And it's just nice that, frankly, there's some slack even in our own system, but our people are, we've got teachers right now who are reaching out. I'm doing this because we've asked each of our teachers to have one relevant career experience in their class every year, because that adds power to all these decision making. You don't know what's going to click for a kid. It could be the one teacher that really resonates with them, that starts talking about what they do or what you could do. I'm a physics teacher, but what would a physicist do for a career? That sometimes is what works. And so the key is to have as many opportunity and intersection points as possible to increase the probability that we can find that true match for a kid. If we can find that true match for a kid before they leave us here, we increase the probability. If they know why they're going somewhere, it increases the probability of being successful.
And we appreciate your excellence and your passion.
Well, we have a great team that's all in on this too.
One last comment that I was just going to say on this one is, it's really great because of technology and innovation. We're actually seeing a lot of reverse mentoring. So you've got the older generation are really learning from the younger ones. And I'm telling you, in business, it is amazing how much the more seasoned maybe this is a better word, more seasoned,
I prefer that.
are just really absorbing what this younger kids
To
can
their
actually
credit,
offer.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's an example you shared, that's an
Yeah.
example of it.
Yeah.
And in addition to quickly, I think this is a perfect timing as well. Reason for that is because our near future will be the business industry is changing to everything to automation.
Yes.
So which means that the doctor job will be far less, and then the young future leaders, when they have an opportunity to look for a job, is kind of scarce and less, and they need to find some more innovative job career opportunity, and that's where we come in, and our district is providing that opportunity. So thanks to all the career teachers who's really initiating and marketing and knocking the door to all the businesses. Well, I don't know how you guys are doing a fantastic job recruiting from 70 to 640 something businesses.
So one of the things that's happened is our businesses have had such a good experiences. They're one of our top referral places. So one of the top 10, I mean, there's a top 10 sort of skills. The instructional program of our district is important too, and I don't want to gloss over that, because one of the top things that our kids need to leave school with is a concept called cognitive flexibility, and it's just to your point, Jen. It's that ability, first of all, you need to be a powerful learner. You need to be able to think critically, to make decisions, to take data, to inference that data, and to make meaning of that data. But the cognitive flexibility to really be a learner, and I think the investment we've had in teacher leadership and making sure that we've got high-quality instruction going on in the classroom sets the foundation for the type of learners that you want your school to produce. So that cognitive flexibility is a really, really important thing. Yeah, I've got some videos about sort of the future technology, and it can be a little bit scary, but I could go on longer. I am going to say one more thing. I just want to say, obviously, right now, the coronavirus is top of mind for a lot of people. We